Welcome to the BAKnowledgeShare.com and BA Knowledge Share YouTube channel. In this episode, I talk about assessing requirements, which is task 4 in the Requirements Lifecycle Management, Chapter 5 of the BABA. Without further ado, let's get started. Now, assessing requirements, and the purpose of assessing requirements is to ensure that the requirements and designs at different levels are aligned to one another. They manage the effects of change. The purpose of assess requirements changes is to evaluate the implication of proposed changes to requirements and designs. The assess requirements changes task is performed as new needs or possible solutions are identified. These may or may not align to the change strategy and/or solution scope. Assessment must be performed to determine whether a proposed change will increase the value of the solution, and if so, what action should be taken. Business analysts assess the potential effect of the change to solution value and whether proposed changes introduce conflicts with other requirements or increase the level of risk. Business analysts also ensure each proposed change can be traced back to a need. And so you want to make sure that the requirements align with the overall strategy, whether it affects the value delivered to the business or the stakeholder groups, whether it impacts the time to deliver or the resources required to deliver the value, or whether it alters any risks, opportunities, or constraints associated with the overall initiative. Elements of assessing requirements. Formality of assessment. If you look at Agile, aka adaptive, this is less formal. The assessment is less formal versus in an SDLC sort of format, predictive model, the formality is high. Number 2 is impact analysis. Traceability is important in assessing requirements. So you want to understand also the benefit, the cost, the impact to the schedule, and the sense of urgency around implementing the requirement. Impact resolution. So it is important to kind of understand, well, how do we resolve the change that's coming through? All impacts and resolutions resulting from change analysis are to be documented and communicated to all stakeholders. How decisions and changes will be made and communicated across an initiative is determined by the task plan business analysis governance, which is part of the BABOK, which we will go through. The next one is guidelines and tools. Now, the tools and guidelines used here are change strategy, the domain knowledge, governance approach, legal and regulatory information, the requirements architecture, meaning the structure of the requirements, the relationship to the other requirements, and the last one is solution scope. Techniques used here are the business cases used to justify proposed change, business rules analysis, decision analysis, document analysis, estimation, financial analysis, interface analysis, meaning the upstream and downstream impacts to other systems, interviews, item tracking, risk analysis and management, and workshops. Stakeholders involved here are customers, the domain SME, the end user, the operational support, the project manager, regulator, sponsor, tester. Let's go back to a case study with Amanda. Amanda, as I've mentioned in previous videos, is a business analyst who's working through moving a restaurant's business online. Currently, they have a very static page. They want to expand on that by introducing payment methods, delivery options, and much more. For this specific task, Amanda has the requirements, design, and proposed change. She is looking to assess any proposed changes to the requirements and the designs. She checks the proposed change and whether it aligns with the overall strategy and the impacts, value delivered to the business, impacts to resources and any risks, opportunities or impacts to the overall initiative. Proposed change can occur at any time. In order to assess the requirements, she needs to determine the level of formality to assess changes, impact analysis by understanding the benefit, the cost, the impact to business, schedule and urgency, as well as impact resolution. She utilizes guidelines and tools such as change strategy, domain knowledge, governance approach, legal and regulatory information, requirements architecture, and solution scope. She refers to the couple of techniques, business case, business rules, and uses techniques such as decision analysis, document analysis, estimation, financial analysis, interface analysis, interview, item tracking, risk analysis, and management, as well as workshops. She can't assess the requirements all by herself, so she works with Ben, who is a customer domain subject matter expert and end user, Ravi and team for operational support, Sean, who is a sponsor, the solution architect, who's the implementation SME, project manager Tim, and health regulator, as well as Eileen, who is the QA lead. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I look forward to seeing you in our next episodes. Please do consider subscribing to this channel as well as visiting our website, ba